Today I'm going to be showing you the top 20 settings that you need to change on your Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now, some are going to be security related, others save battery life or improve performance, and some even unlock new features, but all of them are going to be impactful changes that are going to make your experience using your Fold 6 even better. As always, I will leave all the purchase links down in the description. Alright, so to start, I want to show you some really essential battery saving settings. More specifically, let's take a look at battery health and how to better preserve this over time. So there's one really important setting that I definitely recommend you turn on to preserve your battery health. So to do this, we're going to jump into settings, and then we're going to scroll to where we find battery. And then what you want to do is make sure that battery protection is turned on. And once it is on, we can actually tap into this menu, and here we have different layers of battery protection to choose from. So let me go ahead and run you through what each of these are. So first we have maximum. Now maximum is going to be quite drastic. That's actually going to set a 80% limit to your battery capacity, so it will never charge your phone to 100% and instead run at up to 80%. Now this is going to drastically lessen the wear on your battery and help it last longer, but of course it does mean you sacrifice that top 20% of your battery capacity, which for some people, including myself, is too much. I'd rather still have full access to my battery, but still also preserve the battery health. So the best middle ground, or the sweet spot for this, is going to be the second option, and that is called adaptive. Now, adaptive is still going to give you full access to your battery, so it'll still charge to 100%. However, the way in which it does so changes. So it's going to take a look at your charging habits and then charge more slowly and accordingly. So let's say I plug my phone in at 10 p.m. before going to sleep, and then it's going to charge from 0 up to 80% at first, but then wait with the remaining 20% till closer to when I typically wake up and unplug my phone, let's say 7 a.m. This means your phone is going to be at that higher, fuller capacity for a shorter period, which is going to decrease wear. It's also going to charge slower, which is also going to decrease the heat and again decrease the wear, and result in your battery health lasting longer. So I really think that this adaptive option is going to be the best option for most, as it is much better than having no battery protection on and still gives you full access to your battery's capacity. Next, I want to show you how to check your battery health. Now, this is of course very important if say your phone is new, but even more so if say you're buying a phone used. You want to make sure you have a battery that is in good condition. So to do this, we're going to actually exit out of the settings app and then open up the app drawer, and we're going to search for an application called Members. Now, this app will come pre-installed on your Galaxy device, so you should already have it, and we'll tap on that to open it. And then in here, we're going to tap on the support button in the bottom right of the display here, and then we're going to tap onto phone diagnostics, and here we have a whole list of diagnostics that you can run. You can see checks for not just your battery, that's here the number one option. We can also check things like your speaker, your Wi-Fi, even things like your fingerprint sensor, all of that to make sure your phone is up to date and running as well as it should, and that no component is damaged. So this is really something that again is great if your phone is ever acting slow or a little bit different, or if say you're buying a used phone. And this is not just for the Galaxy Fold, this is also going to be available on the S24, the Flip, and other Galaxy phones as well. But more specifically, or the one that's most important here, is going to be the battery status. So what you want to do is tap on that, and then we're going to tap on test again. And here, what you want to see is that your battery status is listed as normal and that the battery life is showing as good. This means that your battery is running at a good capacity and that you should still have good battery performance. And this is really important to check, especially after a couple of years of use, to know whether you need to replace your battery or not. But just like how you should protect your battery health over the long term, you should also protect your phone from viruses and malware. And Samsung has a really useful feature built into the phone that we're going to activate here. So to do this, we're going to jump into the settings application, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to where we find device care. There, it's right there. And then we're going to scroll down to where we find app protection, and you want to make sure that this is turned on. And once it is, as you can see, it's going to give you the option to scan your phone, and that's essentially going to scan it for any malware or viruses, and it will also periodically scan your phone over in the background. And this way, if say you download something online and you're not sure whether it's from a sketchy source or your phone is acting slower than it should, it's really worth doing a quick scan to make sure that you have no viruses or any malware on your phone, because if you do, it will then identify it and allow you to remove it from there. You can see here a scan will take a few minutes. It's going through my phone now entirely to scan and check for this as well. And enabling this feature also means this will run in the background every so often to make sure your phone has no viruses or malware. As you can see, I have no threats found, and that's exactly what you want to see. Next, I want to talk about notifications, and more specifically, how to make those notifications more private. So let's say my phone is locked and I get a message here. So I'm going to just lock my phone real quick. And let's say I get a message here over on the lock screen. Now, I would want it to show that I have a message, but I wouldn't want it to show the content of the message until I have unlocked my phone. This is, of course, really important for privacy. So to set this up, what we're going to do is go into settings, and then we're going to scroll down here to where we find notifications, and then we'll tap onto lock screen notifications. And then here, here we have the option to either show content or hide the content. And my suggestion for most apps is going to be to hide the content until you've unlocked your phone. This way you see a notification come in, but then to see the details of it, you have to first unlock. Okay, this next one here is super useful. Let's say you are browsing the web and you're filling out an online form, one that is long with several pages or many text fields to fill out, but then you go home because you need to look something up in another application, say your contacts app, and then you go back and you find the app is no longer open and the page has to refresh and all that progress is lost. It has happened to me as well. Really don't like it when it does, but there's a really good workaround as you do have the option, or setting rather, to keep an app always open. And to do this, we're going to open up the application that you always want to keep open. So let's say here I have my Chrome window. Go ahead and tap into the app switcher like so. Tap onto the Chrome icon or the app icon, and then here we have the option to keep open. And as you can see, if I tap that, we have a little lock on that application. And now no matter how much I go home or how many other applications I open and switch between, this application, in this case the Chrome app, is going to always remain open and loaded in the background so that I never lose progress on whatever it is that I'm doing. And then of course, if you want to stop this function, let's say you've completed the form, go ahead and tap on that lock. And as you can see, that application will now refresh if it needs to. Super useful feature. Speaking of super useful features, this will show you how to lock specific applications. So let's say you hand your phone over to a friend or an acquaintance or whatever, and you want them to look at something in a specific app, but you don't want them to be able to go home and swipe through your phone and go through your photos or messages or whatever else you have, right? Let's say you just want them to have access to only that app. Well, to do this, let's say we're going to again use Chrome, swipe up here to the app switcher, tap on the Chrome icon or whatever the app is, and in this case, we're going to tap onto pin this app. So if I tap into that, you'll see that the app is now pinned, and you can see it is not possible to swipe home, and I can only swipe in this application. Super cool. Even things like your notifications won't be viewed, your toggles menu, even your edge panel won't be working. Only this specific application. And if you want to overwrite this, let's say your friend or whatever acquaintance has done what they had to do on that app, hands the phone back to you, what you want to do is tap and hold and swipe up like so, and then you have to type in your passcode in order to then unlock. There we go. So I've just typed in my code, and as you can see, I can now swipe back home and my phone will function like normal. Super useful, very good security and safety feature. Now throughout this video, as I've been going through different applications, you'll probably notice that I have this menu down here, and this is called the Taskbar. And this is going to allow you to quickly access other most frequently used applications, to quickly switch between an app. So I can go through my Chrome or back to my settings window, back to Chrome, and I can also very easily bring in a second application. So let's say, for example, I want to bring in that settings app. I can simply tap and hold, and as you can see, I'm now split screen running 2 applications at once. Now, this for me is really why I think the Taskbar is such a super useful feature that you want to make sure is activated on your phone. You can see here, this will always be visible, whether it's whatever the application is, allowing you to quickly go through and cycle between your apps. But this is something that you do have to activate. So to do this, we're going to go into the settings app here, and then we are going to scroll down to where we find display. And then we're going to scroll in that menu to where we find Taskbar. There it is. And you want to make sure that this is turned on. Now, once it's turned on, we also have the option to tap into that menu, and we can actually customize this a little bit. So first here, we can choose what the right side of the taskbar looks like. In this case here, it's going to show my 3 most recent applications. You can choose this to be fewer or lesser. I like to have 3. I think that's a great number. Again, it makes it super easy to quickly tap and cycle between your recently opened applications. And then you also have the option to turn on or off the ability to hide or show the taskbar. So a tap and hold here is going to hide the taskbar, give you even more vertical screen space, and then tap and hold again to bring it back. This way it's never in the way, but yet still easily accessible at all times. But the best feature of the taskbar is the ability to always have these apps in view and allow you to very quickly start multitasking. So I can quickly drag in, say, a Chrome window, and as you can see, I'm now seamlessly running 2 applications at once. I can then even bring in any application by tapping on this little grid menu here on the far left, and as you can see here, this is going to open up my app switcher and give me access to all of my applications. So let's say I want the calculator in as well, and go ahead and bring that in. And as you can see, I'm now running 2 applications from my phone super easily. Again, gives you very easy access to all the applications on your phone, and this menu will always show here at the bottom of your display until, of course, you tap and hold to temporarily hide it. So something I highly recommend you activate. Oh, and by the way, the applications that are on the left side here of the taskbar are going to be the same applications that you have set on the bottom of your home screen. So you can customize this to whatever you like. Personally, I recommend you have your most often used applications. For example, me, I've got my Chrome and my phone window as well, and those will be reflected here in the taskbar too. But again, you do have this grid menu to always see all the applications on your device and be able to pull up any app. Next, I want to show you how to customize the navigation bar. Now, to be clear, this is different from the taskbar. This is that bar here that you see at the bottom that allows me to swipe home. Now, let's go ahead and change this, as you have two options, and I think the default option here is the far inferior one, and I'll explain why as we go. So first, in settings, we're going to scroll to where we find display, and then we are going to scroll down to where we find the navigation bar that sits just below the taskbar menu that we looked at earlier. Now, by default, you're probably going to have this first option here, which is these familiar recognizable buttons to go back and to go home. Now, this is something that many people do enjoy using, but personally, I highly recommend you switch over to the swipe gestures, and let me show you why. So first, it makes it super easy to instantly swipe home and access your app viewer like so. But my favorite feature of this particular setup for the navigation bar is that with the swipe gestures, you can also swipe to the left and right to quickly cycle between other open applications that you have on your fold. I think that is really great, and I especially like how it doesn't take up any screen space. You see, if I go home, I don't have those back buttons constantly showing on the display, taking up screen space. Instead, I just have this very subtle bar here at the bottom, not taking up any screen space, but of course still giving me the same functionality. And next, I want to show you how to change the name of your phone. Now, you don't want it to be named just a generic Galaxy Fold. This is going to make it very hard to identify in, say, a sea of phones if, say, you're trying to connect to it for Bluetooth or to transfer data. So what you can do is in the Settings app, we're going to scroll all the way down to where we find About This Phone, and then we can tap on Rename to change the name of your phone. And I recommend you add your name or something in there that's going to make it easy to identify to know which phone is yours. Did you know it is important to restart your phone every so often, as not doing so is going to make your phone run slower than it should? Now, of course, restarting is something that is always inconvenient and is so easy to forget. So there's actually a setting built in that's going to automatically restart your phone every once in a while when it is needed. So to activate this setting, we're going to go into the Settings application, then scroll down to where we find Device Care here along the bottom. And then we scroll down to where we find auto optimization, tap into that, and then you want to make sure that auto restart is turned on. And this is basically going to recognize, or rather detect, when a restart is needed and will automatically do so at a convenient time when you're not using your phone. For example, at night when you are charging it, you can even set it to a specific schedule. Personally, I think restart as needed is fine, as this way when the phone needs to do it, it's going to do it, and it's going to choose a time when I'm not using it, so it never bothers me, and that way I know that if it ever needs to restart, it will automatically do it. And I want to show you how to activate one-handed mode. Now, this is a feature that is available also on the Fold, and I find myself using it surprisingly often, even here on the large screen, and of course, especially over on the cover screen, but this is something you first have to activate. So to do this, we're going to jump into Settings, and then we're going to scroll to where we find Advanced Features. And then in here, we will have one-handed mode, and you want to make sure that that is turned on. Now, to activate one-handed mode, what you want to do is do sort of a small swipe gesture along the bottom of the display, like so. As you can see, that's going to shrink the display by, I would say, 50, maybe 40% or so. And as you can see, that's going to make it much easier to access the other edge of your display, reach the top corners when you're using your phone with one hand. Again, not just on the cover screen, but this also applies here to the main screen if, say, you're holding your phone with one hand and you want to quickly reach over. Super useful. You can also move this around. So with this bar, you can go ahead and drag the screen up or down. And of course, you can change to have it to the left or right side. Now, personally, I'm left-handed, so I'll more likely have this over on the left to make it easy with my thumb to reach the other side of the screen, even on this massive display. And then to exit one-handed mode, you want to simply repeat the same gesture. And as you can see, that screen is then going to fully expand. And just to show you, this works the same way over on the cover screen. So here on the cover screen, I'm going to do that same gesture, and as you can see, that makes the cover screen even smaller, making it super easy to access the other side, and of course pull up here to change my system toggles with one hand as well, and then doing the same gesture is going to then undo it and make it big once again. This next one is so commonly overlooked, but allows you to improve your phone sound quality with just one tap and one setting change. So let me show you how to do this. We're going to jump into Settings, and then we're going to scroll to where we find Sound and Vibration. And then in here, we're going to scroll down to where we find Sound Quality and Effects. And then in this menu, you want to make sure that Dolby Atmos is turned on. And this is going to make a huge impact and improve the sound quality that you get from your phone. There's more depth, better highs and low frequencies. So everything just feels more forward and present, especially when you're using headphones or, say, speakers. So definitely recommend you turn this on. I fully don't understand why this isn't on by default. Beneath that, if you do want, you do also have an equalizer. This will allow you to customize, let's say, the sound output. Let's say you really want that bass boost. You see that's going to increase those lower frequencies. You can also have, let's say, if you want a treble boost to make voices more more clear, right? You can do that as well. Personally, I keep this on custom and just make sure, or balance, and just make sure that that Dolby Atmos is on. Now, another quick feature I want to show you in here is that you do have the option to change the vibration intensity for a specific task or notification. So for example, let's say I want a call and notifications to be higher, but other things like my system as well as my media I keep lower. This way, when my phone is in my pocket and it vibrates, I can already identify, okay, that's a notification or a call that needs my attention, or the other is, oh, no, that's just system notification, or say media that doesn't need to, I don't need to look at that right away. So really great to be able to sort of identify what's come in just based on that vibration intensity. Next, I want to talk about the side button and more specifically how to customize it. So as you can see by default here, that's going to bring up Bixby, but you can actually change the functionality of that. So let's go into settings, and then we're going to go back into where we find advanced features. And then here, we're going to scroll to where we find the side button. And here we're going to be able to not just choose what a press and hold does, but also what a double press does. So first, for a press and hold, we have two options, either Bixby or the power off menu. Personally, I like the power off menu more. It's something I access quite often. I don't really use Bixby that much. So this menu here is useful to have at a glance. And then secondly, we do also have the option to choose what a double tap does. Now in my case here, I've set that to activate the torch, but you can also choose to launch the camera or basically launch any application or system function simply with a double press of that side button. So super useful and a great way to add some additional functionality to that button. And this brings us back to some really important multitasking features that are going to make your experience so much better. And first, we're going to enable multitasking for all applications. You can see that most applications, like for example, YouTube, I can then say pull up as well my settings app. No problem. I'm effectively multitasking here. But there are applications like for example, some games or third-party apps that can't multitask out of the box, and you do have to change the setting to enable this feature for all applications. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. We're going to jump into settings, and then under advanced features, we're going to go ahead and tap on labs. That is the second option. And here you want to make sure that multi-window for all applications is turned on, and this will allow any application, even games or third-party apps, to run in split screen mode. And now let me show you some really neat tips and tricks specific to multitasking, again, to help you get more out of this amazing functionality on the Fold 6. So let's say here I have a Chrome window and I want to bring in my YouTube app here alongside. You'll see I'm now running two applications at the same time. What I can do is tap on this little three-dot menu here in the center and tap on the arrows to change the orientation of the application. So depending on which I want on the left or right. And what's also cool is I can also rotate the applications to have them either be split screen in horizontal mode or in vertical mode. And depends really on what application you're using. So let's say, for example, I'm watching a YouTube video here on the top here, and I can browse the web below. This might be useful. Or if, say, I am running, let's say, for example, Twitter, or let's say I am looking at a social media or messaging application, right? Something where I need that vertical screen space, then having the two apps side by side vertically is great, as it gives you that taller aspect ratio. Now, what's also cool is I can tap on that same menu, and I can actually tap on this little star, and this will allow us to save an app pair to either the home screen, the taskbar, or the edge panel. So let's say I run these two applications frequently, I can go ahead and save that to the home screen. And if we go ahead and swipe home here, you'll see that I now have a new icon, and that's going to be an app pair. So every time I tap on that, it's going to launch those two applications in the exact way that I saved. A feature that is especially useful here on the large display of the Fold 6. And now the last and possibly most important setting change that I really recommend you do, especially when it comes to split screen multitasking, is to give yourself more screen space. So as you can see here, your multitasking may actually look a little bit different from mine. You may have less screen space on the top and bottom, and let me show you how to get that full screen mode on both applications like I have here. So to do this, we're going to go back home here, and then we're going to go into the settings page, tap over onto advanced features, and then from here we're going to tap on multi-window, and then you want to tap on full screen in split view. Let me just show you what this looks like off. As you can see here, now both apps, while they are still running, you have far less screen space, right? Both below the application, there's around a centimeter of wasted space and another half or so over on the top. So simply by changing this one setting here, we've now enabled much more vertical screen space, and as you can see, it really takes full advantage now of this massive tall display. So this is something I highly recommend. Again, just check out the before and after. This makes such a big difference. So this is a feature or a setting rather that I highly recommend you change. And for this next one, I want to show you how to activate the always on display, something that is especially useful, of course, for this beautiful cover screen of the Fold 6. As you can see, that allows you to see a bit of your wallpaper, your notifications, as well as your clock, and actually takes surprisingly little battery. And it's also really smart in a sense that when your phone is in your pocket, it's actually going to deactivate the always on display, or when it is charging at night, it will do the same as well. So, but this is something that you have to set up. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So first we're going to unlock the phone, and then we're going to go into the settings app here, now on the more narrow cover screen, although definitely a big upgrade over the Fold 5 on the Fold 6, I must say. We go ahead and scroll down here to where we find the lock screen settings. So we'll scroll down here. And there we go. We're going to tap on lock screen and always on display. And then here we have the always on display. And you want to make sure that that toggle is turned on. And once it is on, we can tap into it and we can also then customize it. So first we can choose whether to show or hide the wallpapers. And it has a little preview up here to show you what that would look like. Of course, turning off the wallpaper means your screen is going to be a little bit less bright. It's going to use a little bit less battery as well. But having the wallpaper, I think is nice, especially if you have, say, a picture of a loved one or a friend or something like that, or your pet. It might be nice to see. And then we also have the option to turn on or off whether to show your music information. So I like to definitely have that on. And then importantly, we have the when to show option. Now, this is going to basically determine when you want your always on display to activate or not. So you can either have tap to show, which means it will be off by default unless you tap the display, or auto, which is what I recommend, or you can set always or to a schedule as well. And again, auto I think is really smart because it will automatically show it when it's on your desk like it is now, but then hide it if, say, your phone is in your pocket or overnight when you don't need it to be on, bothering you, or say using battery. Instead, when you need it most is right now. Let's say you're working, you got your phone next to you, and it will know that, and then it will keep the display on. And next I want to show you how to add more screen space to your home screen. So to do this, we're going to jump into the settings application, and then we're going to tap onto home screen. And here, as you can see, we can change the grid size, both for the home screen as well as your app screen. Now, by default, it's going to be on the larger side, let's say often 5x5 perhaps, or even 5x6. And as you can see, I like to change this to 6x6, as this will allow you to have more applications. You'll see here, I have room for 6 applications, both in the vertical as well as horizontal mode, compared to say 4x5. And we see icons will be bigger, which has its own advantages. But personally, I like to have slightly smaller icons that allows me to have more applications and widgets showing at once to, again, take better advantage of this screen space. So something I definitely recommend you do for the home screen. You can also do the same thing here for your app screen. You'll see the impact here. You'll see it shows less applications. It stops here at global goals, where if I do 6x6, global goals is here, and we see we have another half or so added. So it allows you to get a lot more content on your screen at once. Something especially great, of course, on that large Fold 6. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like and also subscribe. We'd love to have your support. And let me know if you have any questions at all. Please leave them down below, and I'll be sure to get back to as many as I can. Thank you so much for watching this video, and take care.